Biden, the fact that he's willing to make a promise at the outset, this Supreme Court nomination, it must be a black woman. I gotta say, that's offensive.
Oh, poor baby.
This is Not My Party. Brought to you by the Bulwark. Justice Stephen Breyer is retiring from the Supreme Court, and now Biden will come through on a core campaign promise.
Person I will nominate will be the first black woman ever nominated to the United States Supreme Court.
That's great.
Quite specific.
As a result, a bunch of right-wingers are getting their panties in a wad about
affirmative action.
Affirmative action.
Affirmative action.
Affirmative action.
So do they have a point?
That'd be a good one.
Here are the basics. Conservatives are dominating the libs with a 6-3 advantage on the Supreme Court. Mitch McConnell goes hard in the paint on this court, blocking Barack Obama's 2016 nominee after Scalia died, and then slamming in Trump's choice in the same spot 4 years later.
Well, that's not fair.
It's either play or get played.
So Democrats were rightly nervous when one of the 3 liberal justices, 83-year-old Stephen Breyer, was lollygagging on his retirement given that Mitch might be back in power this time next year.
Yes, of course.
Breyer resolved those concerns by retiring well ahead of the midterms, so Matumbo Mitch couldn't reject this nominee too. So you'd think this one would be a clean, no-drama affair, right? Republican Mississippi Senator Roger Wicker put on his best old-timey drawl and warned that thanks to affirmative action, Biden is replacing a nice stately liberal with someone like Latina Sonia Sotomayor, and that no matter who Biden picks, they probably won't get a single Republican vote. This objection was echoed by the anti-woke all-stars.
Joe Biden continued to reiterate that he will pick a black woman, which is kind of insane.
And things got real at Georgetown, where campus protests broke out after a right-wing lecturer called Biden's TBD choice a lesser black woman.
Never say that.
Here's how I see the situation.
Tim?
On the merits, this right-wing backlash is pretty stupid. Reagan had a litmus test in the 80s when he made Sandra Day O'Connor the first woman on the Supreme Court. And for good reason, it only took 200 years.
A big surprise to me, certainly.
The Supreme Court is not like a college having racial quotas. There are only 9 justices. There's always going to be a political reason for choosing one. It's not like there are judicial SAT scores to compare. Diversifying perspectives on the court is good. SCOTUS could probably use some more viewpoint diversity, like picking a non-Ivy Leaguer for once.
Wow, let's not get too carried away.
And it's likely that Biden will pick someone with far more experience than Trump's last choice, Amy Coney Barrett. So the whole undeserving affirmative action hire argument will be moot anyway.
It's a moot point.
The current favorites are Ketanji Brown Jackson or J. Michelle Childs. So if you're a resistance mom lurking on Snapchat, get ready to fire up Etsy.com for your KBJ or JMC merch. But here's the tricky part. Despite all the upside, the appearance of affirmative action hires and the cringy overemphasis of it is bad politics for the Democrats. Outside the lefty bubble, people just don't like it. Just 2 years ago, here in Deep Blue, California, the voters overwhelmingly killed a ballot initiative that would have let the state government make hires based on race or sex. And last week, Bill Maher pointed out this shocking statistic.
62% of black Americans say college and universities should not use race as a factor in admissions.
Really?
I actually don't agree with that, but that poll shows you how unpopular that position is. Asian Americans are bringing a case to the Supreme Court, arguing that they are hurt by racial considerations and college acceptance rate. Representation matters, but Democrats do better politically when they're fighting for social justice for all, rather than obsessing over racial quotas for some.
Really?
So yeah, the performative right-wing outrage over this SCOTUS pick is silly and a little racist. But politically speaking, Biden would have been best off looking at all the options and determining that KBJ or JMC were the best, based on a full range of reasons. Qualifications, judgment, and yeah, diversity of viewpoint that's long overdue.
Out with the old, in with the new.
We'll see you next week for more Not My Party. And I told you all about that Joe Burrow. That boy is bad. For more weekly episodes of Not My Party, hit that subscribe button.